Welcome to the introduction to research in education and sciences. Continue to the previous video, we'll keep discussing about the research design in the quantitative study. From the previous video, we discussed about the experimental design, but what if there is no experiment? Can we still conduct a quantitative study? Yes, we can. And we call it as a correlation research, which is only the survey. For instance, this is one example that we already discussed about uh, whether what factors affect to the academic success in high school, um, and what's the role of the family commitment, early achievement, and socioeconomic levels. So when we conduct the correlation research, we can collect the data at one time point and see what kind of relationship they have. To conduct the correlation research, we follow these kind of steps. First, you develop the hypothesis. And in this phase, you can imagine whatever you want to. Like, let's say, oh, what factors may affect to the student interest in the career, certain careers. Maybe it's their gender, early age experiences, their mother, father's educational levels, like that. You can think whatever or the whatever you heard about and make the hypothesis. Then the next step is the most important step for the correlation research. You need to refine the hypothesis based on the previous theoretical framework, because the hypothesis in the correlation research, correlation study, can be nothing if there is no supportive theoretical framework. It can be just a mere correlation without any kind of cause and effect. So you need to work hard to refine the hypothesis to conduct the correlation research. I want to emphasize more than 100 times. Then you design the study. In this stage, you identify specific variables to be measured based on the hypothesis and select the participant, define procedure, and so on. So in conducting the correlation research or quantitative study, not like the exploratory studies or the qualitative study, we used to have the very strong theoretical background and hypotheses that are likely to be happened before conducting the research. Without it, the collecting data and analyze the data will be really painful, uh, and you need to go back to the hypothesis once again, refine them once again, and need to find another theoretical backgrounds to fit to the your result of the data. So it is good to have much time concentrating on the developing and refining the hypothesis based on the theoretical background to conduct the correlation research. This is one example that I have conducted using the larger scale piece of data for the correlation research. The overall topic was to measure the effect of inquiry-based learning experiences on their future career choices in science. So I put here the learning experiences such as inquiry-based learning and see if it affect to their future career aspiration in science. But instead of measuring the direct correlation, I measure the mediate effect of certain construct like a self-efficacy and the outcome expectation to the interest and in the end to the future career aspirations. And it shows that this guided inquiry-based learning has affected on the future career aspiration indirectly. But in order to make it as an scientific, I need to have the strong theoretical background. Indeed, before conducting that research, I studied a lot about the socio-cognitive career theory by the Lent et al. Lent and his colleagues. And according to the SCCT model, the the people's learning experience affect to their actual choice of action in career, and it does not comes directly. I mean, it does not affect the career choice directly, but the learning experiences influence on the self-efficacy and outcome expectation, and they also have the interrelationship and to the interest, and in the end the choice of the actions. So to conduct the correlation research, you need to find certain kind of theories that has been studied and refined and also still supported in the educational field, for instance, so that your result may be supported by this kind of the theories. Also, based on the correlation of result, we can argue about the causality. For instance, this is one of my study that examine the relationship between the self-efficacy and interest, and we measure self-efficacy and interest when students were 13 years old, and after 3 years, we measure once again the student self-efficacy and interest in addition to the science aspirations. So it's maybe 2000, I think the 15, and it's 2018. And we see the correlation between the self-efficacy and interest. According to the result, the previous self-efficacy affected the current self-efficacy significantly, but there was no relationship between the self-efficacy and interest. So we can say that the self-efficacy affect to the post self-efficacy, not the post interest. Similarly, the previous interest affect to the current interest, but not to the current self-efficacy. And because there is different time point, we can generally say it's like a previous one can cause to the post one, not the post one to the previous one. So there are studies that we can argue about the causality based on the correlation research. So in this video, we discussed about the non-experimental quantitative research design based on the correlational research. And this kind of research also used quite often for the not only for the master degree studies but also the PhD and so on. So hope you got some ideas on your research design and also be encouraged to use this correlational research. Thank you.